The Eagles finished the 2023 season with an overall record of 12-15-1, going 8-12-1 in Mission League action and finishing in 5th place. Joining us today from Chaminade, our senior infielder and Claremont McKenna commit Carter Bennett, senior catcher, first baseman, and University of Puget Sound commit Matt Churchill, and senior infielder, pitcher, and Cal Poly Slow commit Vinny Vanderwell. Coach Wilkerson, please talk about the players you have brought today briefly, and then the media will take over.
So we'll start with Carter Bennett. He's our returning shortstop. I believe made 1 or 2 errors last year for us at short. Really contributed in a huge, way, kind of stabilizing that position. And it just we had a couple conversations at the start of the season where I didn't know who was going to be that guy, and Carter confidently told me that he was going to be that guy, and that's what he did for us. So that's the kind of player that he is. He's been hitting a leadoff a lot for us. That's probably where he's going to end up starting for us in the lineup. Switch hitter, and just very, very smart, both on and off the field. We got Vinny Vanderwell coming back for third base. Hopefully going to do a little bit more on the mound for us this year at the end of games, in those big time situations for us. I think you're talking about one of the best returning offensive players in the league. If you look up the numbers where he ranked, I think he was at the top or second in all the major categories. Phenomenal leader. It would be really hard to find a guy in our program or anywhere to say a bad thing about Vinny as a person as well. And then Matt Churchill, coming back for us behind the plate and at first base, 4-year starter for us. He got thrown into the fire as a freshman when we had 2 catchers get hurt, and he's held that position down for us since. He's giant now. He was still giant as a freshman, but now he's even bigger. He's really developed his power over the last, I'd say, year and a half. Sometimes he's just one of those guys, he runs into a ball and it's obliterated. So that's exciting for us to have him back for year 4 for us.
Coach, if we could just circle back to the roster as a whole, the only freshman listed, Chase Renzo, could you kind of go into what his role will be and what kind of player he is?
So Chase, he's bounced back and forth between shortstop and second base. He's also contributed and thrown a decent amount for us. I think his role is going to be kind of similar. Maybe play some short, maybe play some second base. Depending where we're at on the mound, I think he's going to be a guy for us moving forward, for sure. This year, I'm not sure where he slots for the role, but he's a great kid. He gets along well with everybody. I feel like he's like everybody's little brother on the team, and he's done really well in the opportunities that we've given him.
Matt, 4 years starting now on the squad. How have you seen the program, the Chaminade baseball program as a whole, sort of evolve during your time in high school?
So freshman year was obviously COVID year for us, so I basically didn't know any of the guys when I got pulled up. So it was good to meet all those guys and see how they led the team throughout the years. So I see my sophomore year, I basically experienced a bunch of different leaders, and I feel like going through all those experiences has led me to become the leader I am today and shape me for this season. So I'm really excited for it.
And then Vinny, your coach just really praised you, said a lot of great things about you. Do you feel any pressure sort of going into this season as the leader and the guy for this team?
No, not really. I think it'll definitely be a different experience this year just because of what I showed I could do last year. So maybe the way teams pitch me or the way we prepare for games will be different. But pressure from my team to do well, I don't really feel that. I feel like I've proved what I could do, and I don't feel pressure to keep proving what I can do.
So, Vinny, can we make sure we spell your name correctly? It's capital V-A-N, and then what?
Lowercase D-E-R.
So space?
Space, lowercase D-E-R, and then space, capital W-E-L.
I'm seeing if your coach spelled it name correctly here, yeah. Thank you. Congratulations here. the rosters are always messed up and we get blamed in the media for that.
I
so.
take a lot of pride in spelling words right.
All right, Matt, you have to give me the rundown on going to Puget Sound, one of the most beautiful campuses around, right? Can you give us your evaluation of that?
Okay, so I really fell in love with the school when I visited, not just for the baseball field, but for the overall campus. Going into recruiting, I never thought I would end up in the Pacific Northwest, but when I took my tour up there, I just really fell in love with the coaches, especially. I met a lot of the players too, so I just really felt like home for all the schools that I visited. So, yeah.
Right, but you haven't given us the rundown on the beautiful campus. What impressed you?
Well, being a SoCal kid, most of the areas around here are kind of a little dry in the summer. So taking a trip up there, I got to see that it was always green, and I'll get used to the cloudy weather. I'm sure I'll handle it really well. And the campus was just so green, so that's what I really liked about it.
Okay. So you and Vinny argue about who has the best campus there between SLO and Puget Sound?
They're very different, but I'm gonna stick with SLO just because it's always sunny. Can't really beat the sun all year round. Perfect weather, mid 70s, low 80s. Can't really beat that.
Better barbecue?
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's hard to beat SoCal weather. I'll give it to them.
Okay, thank you.
Coach, pitching was a big question mark prior to the season last year. I know Brady On and Jordan Rodarte found a way to eat a lot of innings, but there was a lot of distribution in who was pitching. Is that going to vary this year, or do you have a more solidified rotation?
That's a great question, and I knew someone was going to ask about the pitching. So unfortunately, our school year started with Jordan going down. He ended up having to get Tommy John, so that was a huge blow for us early on. However, I think finding out that happened so early kind of let us open it up a little bit to see what certain younger guys were made of. And I think a kid like Jackson Schroeder is really, he's ready to go. And we have several other 10th graders. Eli Steffens is another one that's thrown really well for us lately. We have a senior that actually hasn't really played in, 2 years? Named Bryce Irvine. He's had back issues, and he's finally healthy. So he's another one that's really contributed a lot for us. With the new schedule and some 2-game weeks and some 3-game weeks, it's just going to be about guys being flexible and using them in the right situations for us. And again, just hopefully guys staying healthy, and Vinny's definitely going to have a much bigger role on the mound this year, I think, at the end of those games. But we have the guys. It's just going to be about using them in the right situations and them getting comfortable with kind of being thrown into the battle.
Thank you, Coach.
Coach, how many seasons is this for you at Chaminade?
This is my 6th year already as the head coach. 12th year at Chaminade.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So you've had a few guys since they were freshmen at this point. At what point did you feel like you had kind of established like the culture that you want at Chaminade?
So the word culture is thrown around a lot. I feel like it's pretty cyclical with the types of players and the types of personalities that you have. If you look at the group that we have that's returning, it's a decent sized senior class. They're just the demeanor, the intelligence just makes it a group that has been really fun to coach in this last few months. Just because you know that everyone's bought in, they're all listening, they're all eager to try and get better. So that's what this group has been, is just really honing in on details, because you know that you're being heard and that you know that everyone's kind of on board. The last couple of years, it's been, I guess, selective in that kind of process, and this year I feel like it's been a full buy-in for the group that we've had, and we've had a bigger group. I've had 25, 20 guys around, 25, 26 guys around it at different points, but I feel like everyone's on the same page, and there's like a widespread understanding, not just with the varsity group, but with the two lower level teams as well.
So when you have that cohesion and you mentioned intelligence, when you have a team that's, would you say more cerebral? Is there different things you can do with them, like certain areas you can push them a little bit more in?
I would say you can add more elements to your approach to a game, and know that if you have to pivot, they're capable of making those changes mid-game, mid-inning. It's more just about being able to do it quicker as well, like being able to apply what's talked about. We actually just talked about this yesterday at practice, where that we weren't very good at that the last week or so, where you talk through it with the coach, and now it's time to fix it and not do it for a week or a full round of BP or for a full practice. So that's been a nice thing too, is being able to apply it and fix it really quick.
I have a question for Matt. From what I understand, you've been playing for Chaminade for a while now, and I was just wondering, what difference have you been seeing this season in comparison to the past season?
So this season, I'd say it really does feel like a brotherhood. Like, I feel like us seniors, we really take the younger guys under our wing, and I feel like we're like truly a team. The definition of team, working together, getting along. In previous years, it has felt that way, but I'd say this year more than ever.
Carter, you're a switch hitter. Which side do you like to hit from more? Because I know Chaminade's got that short porch in right field.
Yeah, I mean, for some reason, last year, we did not see that many left-handed arms. I think the amount of reps you get contributes a lot to your, confidence level and how you're feeling. It changes day to day for sure. A large majority of my at-bats were left-handed, but I am a natural right-handed hitter. That's where I started. So getting my reps in the cage both ways, trying to stay ready for both ones. But I definitely see a lot more right-handed arms.
Okay, thank you, Chaminade. I'll bring you guys this with you photographs. Next question.